Alright, in this video we will be learning how to email. It's my first time creating a video, sort of. I've had several failed attempts in the last, hour or so, so bear with me. So we're going to start in storage, where everything is kept, as you know by now. And then we're going to go into training to get the emailing instructions, which is under training manuals, email instructions. So this is a little handout I made. I've tried to make it as descriptive as possible with images so that you don't get lost, because there are a lot of steps, as you can see. So you'll probably just want to print that out and pause the video and then come back with the printout. So the first thing we're going to do is open ACT. Once it opens, this login will show up. If there's no password in it, the password is password. Super secure. You're going to press OK after you input that information, and it's going to load all the contacts. So, you're going to select a group by clicking that button at the top over there, View Groups and Companies, and then it's going to give you all the groups and companies, and you're going to select which one we're going to create the promo for today. So, today we're going to email JK to grade 6, because that's what's on the handout, and there it'll prevent confusion. So there we go, junior kindergarten to grade 6, I'm going to press OK. And then you're going to go to options and customize the columns. So in the columns you're going to want to have contact, company, address 1, city, province, postal code, dark color, light color, school short name, mascot, email, color group F. Now, if it doesn't say that, you can just select this button here, and that will remove all the columns that were selected, and then you can pick one and put it in. And if you don't want it, it's again that button to send it back. You can also move things up or down. I do recommend having it in this exact order. So once you have all those columns and they're in the right order, you press OK, and it will adjust things for you. Then you're going to click on, we're going to start on the right side, go through color group F, we're going to click it, and there's going to be a lot of blanks. If there are a lot of blanks, we're going to have a lot of errors when we create the files. So you're going to select all of those by holding shift, and then omit selected. There's also some that say 3 colors. We don't have a setup for that, so we're also going to omit selected. Then we're going to do emails. Since we are emailing the promos, we do need emails to send them to, so if there are no emails, we can't send them. Scroll to the top, click the very first one, and then I'm going to find all the emails. This one's an incorrect email, so again, select that as well, omit selected. Then we're going to go to mascot. The mascot's a little bit trickier because we have this, call it the mascot, hashtag not interested. You're also going to have a bunch of things that say mascot in the M section, and some that say no mascot in the N section. So, as you can see right there, those have to go. Omit selected. And then here are the not availables and the no mascots. Also should get rid of those, and none yet. That's a good one. Alright, then we're going to check the colors. Make sure that we've got colors. Alright, and check contacts. Just do a nice little look over. There's some blank contacts there, but there are emails attached to them, so I'm just going to leave them for now. Now, to export it to Excel, there's this button up here. It's like a little green Excel spreadsheet with the blue arrow, so we're going to click that. And then it should open Excel up for us. So as you can see now, the little Excel thing is glowing at the bottom, and and it's labeled as sheet 1. And you've got all your contacts in there. You can also delete things from the Excel contact sheet instead of in ACT if you find that easier, but it's a little bit easier to do both. So now we're going to sort this data into the 3 color groups. You may have noticed at the end there was color group F has 3 different categories. And how we do that is you're going to go File, Open. You're going to go into the Y drive where everything's kept, then the GMS folder, and then Format ACT Data. You're going to click Enable Macros. Sometimes that doesn't happen for security reasons. On the handout it tells you what to do if it doesn't happen, so you basically just have to fix the security and then it will open up. Then we're going to go into our file that we just exported, paste it, and then you're going to press Ctrl H as it instructed us to do, and it's going to sort it all out for us. Okay, so as you can see here, there's a couple lines that are yellow or highlighted. That's because they have empty spaces, so generally it highlights whatever might give you a problem, so you can fix it by inputting the fields if you can, or you can just delete them if you can't fix it. So for example, I might put coach. So I input the word coach, it's still highlighted, so I'm just going to remove them. Yes. So I'm just going to delete it, delete, and then it's going to shift all the contacts up. Now we're going to click on this empty square here, and that selects everything. And we're going to select Data, Sort, and then we're going to select by color group F. Yep, passed it. Then we're going to sort by postal code. And the reason we do it that way is because all the files are named after the postal codes of each of the companies or contacts. So let's say your computer crashes in the middle of creating 700 files. You don't want to sort through this contact sheet to figure out where it crashed, and then it'll just be easier if you can search by postal code. Now we're going to save as. We don't want to save over Format ACT Data, so we're going to save as contacts. So I'm going to go into Employee Files and then into Jenna, because that's where all the other emails are kept. It's good to keep them all in one place so you can see when things were emailed last instead of having it all in different employee folders and stuff like that. It's all accessible right here. We do several rounds of emails based on, like, for example, sports seasons, so it's better to also name it, put it in a folder with the name of the group and the year. So in this case it's 2013, JK to grade 6, and I'm going to put the month as well. I'm going to put July. Or August, actually. I'm going to press OK. I'm going to name it Contacts and save it in there. Now you can exit ACT, you can exit Excel for a second or just minimize it, and then I'm going to go into the folder we just made. We're going to add some things to it. So we've got JK August and contacts. So we're going to have to put subfolders. One's going to be called PDF because that's where all the PDFs are going to get dumped into. and then the other one's going to be CDR. That's where all the Corel files will get dumped into. And then this one is going to be called final output. I'm actually going to drag the contacts into final output. And then in final output I'm also going to put 3 folders. This one is going to be called white, capital WHITE, after the color group. Then we're going to have a standard, and a double for the double darks. We're also going to need a color file, so I'm going to go back into Jenna. I'm going to use one of the ones that were previously made, and you'll see there's an Excel sheet called colors here, so I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to go back to our folder that we're doing, JK6, and paste it. Alright, so now we're going to divide the contacts. The reason for that is because it takes, I guess, a lot of brain power for the computer to make all the contacts. So, make all the promos. So it can only really handle about 30 to 40 at a time. So I'm going to put in the first 30, copy that, new file, and paste it. It's very important that the first line have all the headings, because if it doesn't, basically files will go missing and not get made. And then we're going to save this as for Corel in our folder. Alright, I'm going to close that. Then we're going to grab this one. So I'm going to grab 31 to 60 now, copy those, and put it into a new file. Start on line 2 this time. I'm going to save this one as for Corel 1. I'm going to add in our headings. And you're going to do this for all the files, so on and so forth. So the next one would be 61 to 90, and you're going to do it for each of the different colors. So we just did standards. You're going to also do it for the dark whites and the double darks, so on and so forth. All the yellow ones are errors, so we're just going to delete those. Those aren't going to work for us. And after all the 4 Corel files are made, you can close Excel and open Corel. Alright, so on the sheet we should now be in step 2, creating the promos. So we have this macro maker thing here, which is going to make the promo. So we're going to click that. Oops. First we're going to click new document. Then we're going to click the macro maker, and this window should pop up. We're going to deselect CapLox number 2, because then some of the files will come out with some weird text. And then we're going to put in for Corel, which is the file that we just made. You could actually name it whatever you want. You could name it like standards number 1 and put in standards number 1. Then we're going to input the template. So the templates all have different names, but they all end in either a W, an S, or a D. So for this one we're going to use the 2944 template. I'm going to put in W. Oh wait, we exported standards, so I'm going to put in S for standards, and then it's going to go into the folder that we're using. paste it. And we're also going to need those templates, so I'm going to go get a template, the 2944 template from Basic 7, I believe, or no, I'll just use the W or the S. Copy. So that's a basic standard template right there. I'm going to change that because we decided to go with the regular standard template instead of the 2944. The numbers just refer to the different promos. Like I said before, I think we have about 5 or 7 or something. And then after all the fields are correct and it looks like this, you just press go, and it should create all the files. Now you don't really see anything as it's doing that, but if you go into your folder, they should be showing up in PDFs and the CDR folder. So after it's made them, you should check a couple of them, I'd say about 5, to see if everything looks right. So we've got the Munster butterfly, colors are good, the name, Munster is at the top, elementary school, short name is over here, mascot is in. So everything is being created pretty well. And then after that's done, you would go and close the file. You'd press new page again. You have to do a new page every single time you run the macro. And then you would input the next one, so it would be for Corel number 1, or standard to number 2, or whatever. And then you press go again. And then that's how you create all the files. So after all the files for that color group are made and you've checked them out to see that they look good, you can select them all, copy them, and then go into your final output folder and then paste them into the appropriate color group. And then of course you've got to go back and do it for all the whites, all the darks, and all the standards. Once all the folders are full, you can actually start the emailing. So, if we return to the first page, or I mean the desktop, there's a folder on the desktop called Smurf, and we're going to select Smurf, and we're going to select step 1, and click on the XLS email icon, and this shows up. Then you're going to select the project location. So, you're going to go in, select employee files, Jenna, and then the name of the folder that you just created. And then you're going to select the final output folder. You're not going to click on any of the folders inside, we're just going to stay on final output and press OK. Once it finds all the contacts in the final output folder, it'll give you all this information down here of what's going on. So table identified for white colors, blah 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 blah, and then it shows all the contacts in there, and all the attachments that are attached to, like all the files, the Corel files, it's sucked out of the white standards and darks and attach them for you. So the only thing you have to do now is put in the body and the subject line. So I'm just going to go back into Y, into Jenna, and find one of the emailing bodies. So I'm going to use one that's already been used. Let's say basketball. Oh, that one doesn't have one. Emailing body. I'm going to open that up. This first line here is going to go into the subject. So if we were emailing junior kindergarten to grade 6, it probably would say gym uniforms. And then you're going to read through this and maybe change whatever would be appropriate. Uniforms, hoodies. And then you're going to copy and paste that into the Smurf. So this one, copy, paste into the subject, and then this one, we're going to paste into the body. Then we're going to hit number 1, and it should suck all that information, change these things in between the percent signs, and then put them into the email. And it does. So if we maximize this, you can see that all the spaces are filled. You can, so that there's an issue right here in the body. It's named it Dear Standard instead of the contact. So there's probably an issue with the code. So I'm going to change it into name, maybe name will work. It is case sensitive, so sometimes there are simple errors like that. There we go. So after I've changed it to name, it's taken all the names Terry Bishop and put it in. So now it says Dear Terry Bishop, blah 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 blah. Now we're just going to save it, and we're going to save it in our folder. Employee files, Jenna, JK to 6 August. We're going to save it as all, because it's all of our contacts. And we're going to save it as a CSV. Close that. Now we're going to open up the CSV in Excel. And there it is. If you don't see it, you can scroll down here and click all files and it'll show up. And now we have this contact list with the attachment and the body and the subject line in it. So same thing with Corel, like it could only create about 30, it could only send about 30 at a time. The Smurf can only email about 200 people in one go. Since our internet has been upgraded, it does do more, but it's best to send them in groups of 200 just in case. So you would select the first 200, copy, paste it to another file, and call it 200. So just for example sake, I'm going to do 25. I'm going to copy it, make a new file, paste it, and I'm going to name it, and I'm going to save it as a SCV file as well. I'm going to scroll down here, select SCV, then I'm going to save it as 25 because it's the first 25 contacts. If you did 200, you'd obviously save it as 200 as it says on the printout. Sometimes this pops up, just say OK. You can click yes or no, it doesn't really matter. And then you're going to do that for 200, and then to the 200 to 400, 400 to 600, and so on and so forth, just like you did for the Corel files. And then you're going to go into step 2. Alright, so now we're going to go into step 2. We're going to open the Excel email icon. We're going to load our little thing, the 200. Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. So we're going to open our folder up. Alright, JK to 6, August. We're going to open the 25. Then we're going to check through and see one last time to make sure that there aren't any weird values. You know, occasionally someone gets angry and in the database they write like the mean secretary, and you don't want to send an email with the mean secretary on it. So you can actually unclick it if that was the case, or if there was something wrong with it or was missing a mascot or whatever, you can unclick it. We're gonna open File and Settings for a second. We're going to check that this is Spiritware 11, which is one of the emails. We like all the emails to go to the same, like the responses to go to the same place. Therefore, we can keep track of them easier. So Spiritware 11 is good. I'm going to close it. There is no like save button, so as soon as you close it, it just saves whatever was last input. You can also search for certain things. So if you like say one of the files was corrupt or didn't attach properly, you could search for that contact and then deselect them as well. And then after everything looks good, you simply hit email and everything gets sent. So this log will open up while it's emailing. And basically once the computer started emailing, you can't really touch it because it could disrupt the emailing, especially if you're doing like a set of 200 all with attachments. It's kind of a lot for the computer to handle. So what's best is to make all the files during the day, and then right before you leave the office at night, you can actually send like the first 200 from one of the computers and then send the next 200, like the 400 file, from the other computer, and you can send several of them. When it's finished, the log should show a detailed description of what happened, so it'll either say sent or failed or completed or whatever, and then you're going to save it, which I can't show you right now because it's still going. But when it finishes, basically you'll have a log. Let's see with this one. So then it'll say what happened. I stopped it short, but basically this will just go on with the times of each email that was sent out and whether or not it bounced back. Then we're just going to save that into the folder as well. So back to our JK to 6 August. I'm going to save it as log. You can save it as log 200, or in this case it was 25 because I only sent 25, and then we'll save it. The reason for that is because if there are any bounce backs or incorrect emails, we can find them later and then correct them in ACT, because we're going to probably send the same email or same promo about 3 times in 1 year. So if we can fix them before the next email, we have a better chance of reaching more clients. And that is pretty much how you email.